Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. In today's video, we are going to see how can we cast data types into different formats. What casting basically does is if you have a string value, sometimes you might want to change it or convert it into an integer value. And if you have an integer value, you might want to convert it into a string. Things of that sort is, what casting does is basically you're casting one value into another value, right? So let's see this with an example. So the first example that we will see is we have a string called s. S is the name of the variable, and here, you have some value, which is 2, right? Now this 2 is a string because it has double quotes around it. Okay, and so when I print this, okay, I see 2, right? But this 2 is a string. So one way to understand what is the data type of any variable is to use type. Okay, so now when I do this, it prints out the type of this variable, right? So this is what you need to do. Just type in over here type, and this will show you that this belongs to the string class, right? So let's ignore the class for now. This is a string, right? So now let me change this into integer. So now this becomes an integer because there is no quotes around this. So you see, it knows it's an integer. So Python is smart enough to understand if this is a string or an integer. Now, uh, why we might need to use casting is, you might have a scenario where you take input from the user or you get input as a string, okay, which is this, but then you don't want to keep this a string. You want to keep this as a convert this as an integer, right? So what I will do is I will create a new variable I equals int s. Okay. So what happens now is first Python will go in and see, okay, s has this string too, that's fine. And then I is equal to int cast as s. So what it's going to do is convert this into an integer. So this becomes a number 2. And that's why I'm printing out the type of this so that we see the value 2 and it will be integer, right? So it will just print out the type of this, right? So this is int. So the variable I is of type integer. And now if I want to just print the value of I can simply write, I, and this will give me the value 2. So you see what we are doing. We converted a string into an integer, right? Just one word of caution over here. You have to be careful that if you take something that is not actually a digit and you try to cast it, it will throw error. So it understands that, you're trying to do something weird and it is going to throw you an error. So in the same way, you could take a integer, and then you could change this to a string. Okay, so let's see now. So this prints out 2 and it looks like 2, but this is actually a string. And the way I can prove this is just type this. So it is a string, right? So this stage or this step where we take a variable and we change its data type is called casting. So you can do this from int to string, string to int, float, anything, right? So you just have to cast it and then it becomes that number, right? So that's all for this video. I hope you like this and this was useful. And please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.